Lesson 7, Food Web. Hello, thanks for joining me again today. You learned about the food chain in our last lesson. Today, I shall be teaching you about the food web. Remember that the goal is for you to know enough to be able to take care of your environment. There are unique interactions and relationships which are involved in the transportation of energy. The energy once produced and captured is distributed throughout the various living organisms. At the end of the class, you should be able to define food web. List 4 differences between food web and food chain. Write explanatory notes with the aid of diagrams on a pyramid of number and a pyramid of energy. Our keywords for today is food web, pyramid of number, and pyramid of energy. Food web is a network of interconnected food chains. It comprises all the food chain within a single ecosystem. It helps in understanding that plants lay the foundation of all the food chains. In a marine environment, phytoplankton forms the primary producer. There are unique interactions and relationships which are involved in the transportation of energy. The energy once produced and captured is distributed throughout the various living organisms. Food webs show the interaction of multiple interconnected food chains within an ecosystem. For example, in the marine ecosystem, the figure 5 below, there are a number of food chains which are all connected together. You can see it. If the population size of any of these organisms changes, it will affect all other organisms in the food web. This is known as interdependency. For instance, if the number of squid in ocean decreased, this will boost mackerel population as there are fewer squid to eat them, and reduce the amount of seaweed and algae since there are more mackerel consuming these plants. Take a look at aquatic food web. The diagram showing on the screen. The importance of food web. Living organisms depend on one another for their survival. It is an important conceptual tool for illustrating the feeding relationships among species within a community, revealing species interactions and community structure, and understanding the dynamics of energy transfer in an ecosystem. Differences between food chain and food web. The first one, we can see that food chain is a linear feeding relationship, whereas food web is a complex feeding relationship. The second of it is the food chain involves one food chain, while under the food web, it involves more than 2 food chain. The third point under the food chain is that it involves fewer organisms, but in the food web, it involves many organisms. The last under the food chain is that organisms have less chance of survival, but in the case of food web, organisms have greater chance for survival. Ecological pyramids are used to indicate trophic structure of an ecosystem. A diagram shaped like a pyramid is developed to represent the numbers of organisms, their biomass, and the energy relationship. In a food chain, a fraction of energy is usually lost in the form of heat. Therefore, organisms usually pass lesser energy from one trophic level to the next. A pyramid is formed because of this loss of energy through a food chain. The high step in an ecology pyramid contains a lower number of individuals. than the lower steps. There are 3 types of pyramid which may be found among organisms in the ecosystem. The first one, we have pyramid of number, pyramid of biomass, and the pyramid of energy. The pyramid of numbers, this indicates the numbers of individual organisms at different trophic levels of a food chain. Charles Eaton advanced this type of pyramid in 1927 by pointing out the huge difference in the number of organisms that involved in each step of the food chain. The numbers of organisms decrease rapidly above each successive link of the pyramid. In the pyramid, there must be enough plant to produce food at the bottom, and the number continues decreasing from one consumer to the other. Hence, the shape of the pyramid comes out. The number of a consumer cannot be similar to that of his prey, otherwise they will risk being wiped out. A pyramid of numbers helps identify the number of organisms at each trophic level. It can also help to find out how one organism's population can affect another. Look at the pyramid of number. Now we move to biomass, pyramid of biomass. The pyramid of biomass in the figure 6 is formed by biomass of the members of the food chain. This pyramid indicates a decrease in the biomass in each tropical level from the base to the apex of pyramid. There are 2 types of pyramid of biomass, that is an inverted and the upright pyramid of biomass. An inverted pyramid is where the mass of producer is higher than that of consumer. A pyramid of biomass helps in identifying the biomass at each trophic level. You can see. We have pyramid of energy. This pyramid indicates the amount of energy flow at each level and the role that various organisms play in the transfer of energy. It also indicates that the amount of energy needed to support the next trophic level flowing up. As we move from the bottom to the top, through our trophic levels, energy decrease. The pyramid of energy is useful in showing the transfer of energy from one organism to another. Now we want to talk about the difference between pyramid of number and pyramid of energy. Under the pyramid of number, the size of organism is not recognized, only numbers are counted. In the pyramid of energy, this is based on a common unit of energy. The pyramid of number, the shape is not constant. It might be inverted, e.g. grasshopper feeding on a large tree. But under the pyramid of energy, shape is constant. Now, hope you enjoyed today's lesson. Take a quick recap of the takeaways. Food chains and food webs model feeding relationship in ecosystem that show how energy and materials are transferred from trophic level when consumers eat producer or other organisms. A food web is a diagram of feeding relationships that include multiple intersection food chain. Now you should be able to answer the following questions. Define food web. Differentiate between food chain and food web. State the 2 importance of a food web. What are the 3 types of pyramids in the ecosystem? That's the end of our today's class. Take care.